himself off that corner. Everyone's in sync right now, and that shot is sunk.
Oh, you can't believe it.
A lot of skill on the field, and really even in this matchup right here. That one finds the net. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to qualifier number 3 of the Adaptive Esports Tournaments. My name is Frank, and joining me in the booth yet again is Lemon Kiwi. Lemon Kiwi, how we doing today?
Good. It's hot outside, but the competition is heating up. So I like that I'm in an AC room ready to relax and, well, maybe not relax because these guys have some tense matches sometimes.
Yeah, there has definitely been some nail biters in the past. We'll have to see if that trend continues today with these matches. But before we get into those, let's take a look at our format real quick for any new viewers to the stream. So again, kind of a 3-tiered system here. We're starting with open bracket qualifiers, where 2 teams from each open bracket will advance to pool play. And then in pool play, these teams will have a chance to play against each other for seeding for that season finals. And then, of course, the big season finals has a $25,000 prize pool where our 8 finalist teams are going to be competing, and that all will go down on September 1st. So that's kind of the high-level breakdown of this AET format. And let's dive into our bracket next here. So these are going to be the 2 teams that have qualified to move on to pool play. And it's also going to be our first match of the day. We have Handy Cracked going to be going against Cerebral Moxie for our first match here.
It's the names are so funny. Every time I come to this tournament, there's so much creativity. I think Handicracked is starting to become one of my, in the top 3 when it comes to names in Cerebral Mox. And then No Sight, No Legs, no problem. Big fan of that. Hope they get a chance to qualify in our, final chance.
Yeah. So this is qualifier number 3. We've got 4 qualifiers this season. So there's still one more opportunity for teams to enter into pool play and also qualify for that season final. But I have to agree with you there. The creativity of the names this season continue to continue to improve along with the competition. So it feels like we should have a vote on the best team name for the season as well at the end.
Trophy.
A little side competition there. But I know between these 2 teams that have made it to today's grand finals and qualified for pool play, a lot of them new faces. The only one returning name that I've seen before is Fear the Nub, who was a winner in prior seasons and a top competitor, really. So good to see that name return, and I'm excited to see what these other 2 teams have in store, because we do have kind of the bar, the peak has been set with the uncontrollables. No one has really been able to put a stop to Ashley just yet, but I will say the teams we keep seeing week after week, continue to battle for that spot and improve week after week. I know teams like we had mentioned Solitude and Disbel in our qualifier number 2. We could, visibly see the improvements that they had made in not only their passing play and their team play, but that individual skill being leveled up as well. And that's really the big thing to go against Ashley. Probably our top player right now is one of the top 1v1 players in the world. So you kind of got to pick your lane. How are you going to attack that? Are you going to try to isolate him as an individual, go for the demo plays, work on your individual skill to try to match him, or just out team play him? We've seen all of these teams try a few different strategies, but just none of them have been able to land just yet, and no one's been able to defeat them so far this season.
I know, but it's so exciting to see players like Ashley in a league like this, but also I started kind of reaching out to RLCS casters. I know, I mentioned Johnny Boy's showmatch stream. I was like, get Ashley on there, and apparently they had already heard of Ashley. So just the fact that they're transcending outside of this league, this is really just a stepping stone for them to grow their careers, and whether they want to be super professional, whether they just want to win some money, hang out with their community. That's what this is all about. And we have Handicracked versus Cerebral Moxie as our first match. 2 new teams that I'm excited to see.
Yeah, gonna be a fun one for sure. But We want to remind you guys, too, that if you're tuning in to the stream, there is a chance to win a Logitech G prize pack. All you need to do is head on over to aet.gg/giveaway, and there you'll find the instructions to enter, and maybe you'll be the lucky recipient of our Logitech G prize pack there. So just wanted to remind you guys early while we're waiting to get into this first game. It's a perfect opportunity to open up a second tab and enter in that giveaway, and maybe you'll be our lucky winner. But it sounds like we're about to get started here with our first match of the day. Again, these are all going to be best of 5 series throughout today's competition, and we do have the 7-goal limit. So there's a 5-minute time limit, and also the first team to reach 7 goals will also claim the victory of that match. So going to be exciting to see. I know we've seen a decent mix back and forth of teams that try to play really aggressive, go for the 7 goals and just move on to the next game, or some kind of slow burns where teams are playing a little bit more defensive. So I'm excited to see how this match plays out.
So you have Handicraft versus Cerebral Moxie for our first match, and you talked about that aggression. It's right out the gates for someone like Bubbling Kettle, who is teaming up with Fear the Nub, that known player who set up off the kickoff, took the corner boost, won the challenge, and the rest is history.
Yeah, I like what I'm seeing. Quick off the start, taking that early goal lead. That's going to be a nice little confidence boost for Cerebral Moxie, our orange team here. Another kickoff won by Bubbling Kettle. Looks like the members of Handicraft trying to set up some defense, trying to stop this offensive pressure from Cerebral Moxie, and it's Solo up with the aerial play. Whoa. And he's able to carry that one in and tie us up at once.
Well, it's in his name, Solo. He makes the magic happen from one side of the field, dribbling all the way to the other, while also readjusting the ball, centering it out towards the net when he saw the challenge coming in. And a very incredibly intelligent player and a solo player. The fact that Handicraft came back that quickly, and it's only been 30 seconds of the game.
Yeah, and here's Solo yet again trying to go for that aerial play. His teammate Dracus be backing him up on this one. Also lifting this ball up, but it's Bubbling Kettle able to knock that one away, but Solo at the midfield line was waiting for it, but was on the receiving end of that demo. So now it's going to be Fear the Nub in the corner, looking to get Cerebral Moxie offense going yet again, looking for a little passing play, but Dracus is going to be able to deter that one just for a moment.
That's a good touch from Dracus off the bounce of the wall. That could have been a double tap opportunity for Cerebral Moxie left in that 1v1. Here's Solo defending this. Dracus misses the challenge, but look, Solo has his back. That's the synergy you're seeing out of Handicraft to maintain this defense when the offense of Cerebral Moxie is really starting to put their backs against the wall. But Solo getting the ball here first, almost getting it in front of the net, but it's off the post and not something Handicraft can work with yet.
Yeah, Solo trying to work in front of that net. A nice save again coming through from Bubbling Kettle. Now Dracus able to speed through that one, take it out of Cerebral Moxie's hands. Solo up yet again, trying to cut this one back, but doesn't have the angle to finish that shot attempt.
Still left in a 1-1 as both teams have simmered down a bit since the initial 30 seconds of the game. Fear the Nub just kind of tossing it towards the back wall. Dracus well protected. He's going to see kind of Bubbling Kettle not have full possession, so goes for the challenge. This almost bounces Solo's way. The 50 off the back wall. Solo with a nice touch. Dracus just has to finish it, and it's off the right post. But Solo finally gets it done, and Handicraft have the lead.
Solo went coast to coast with his first goal, and Dracus went post to post with that assist to Solo. They've got all their bases covered so far here today, and with that goal, they're going to take a 2-1 lead as we near the midpoint of our first game in this best of 5. Solo yet again. A brief possession in the orange corner. Dracus with a nice touch to redirect that shot attempt. It's Bubbling Kettle for Cerebral Moxie trying to make something happen, but now he has to hustle back onto defense as Solo was trying to make another play happen.
But Fear the Nub slowed him down. That was what's so important on that Cerebral Moxie defense. Dracus was the long send away. Bubbling Kettle used a lot of boost just to get back in time now. Bubbling Kettle sending it all the way to the back wall, well protected there by Solo, and I like the position that Fear the Nub was to just stop that push, see if he could favor the 50 and win the challenge. Looks like Cerebral Moxie warding away the storm, but Dracus trying to cross over. This bounces back to Solo, who has to go back for boost anyway, but at least maintains the ball.
Yeah, and I like that positioning out of Dracus that we've been seeing, not really overcommitting on those offensive plays or looking for too aggressive of a follow-up, always kind of hovering that midfield and waiting for the next time to strike. We see Bubbling Kettle trying to get another shot attempt here, looking for the tying goal, but haven't been able to find it just yet. So now we have Dracus trying to chase this one down. Both members of Cerebral Moxie back on defense, and a great bump from Bubbling Kettle, gonna slow down that play.
Oh, but Cerebral Moxie sitting in the net. Reset from Solo, couldn't deliver. But up next is Dracus with the challenge, wins it in the corner, guides it towards the right side. Ready to receive is Solo, dribbling up, but early challenge from Fear the Nub clears it downfield where Dracus is ready.
Yep, great clear there from Fear the Nub, trying to get his team in a position to find that tying goal as we have less than a minute left to play here in regulation. Bubbling Kettle, possession on that sidewall, but it's going to be Solo going for that challenge. Fear the Nub trying to get a touch, putting it off the backboard. Dracus looking for the shot attempt, and Solo is there for the follow-up to extend that lead to 2.
And you just bury them 6 feet under after that with 3-1 with 40 seconds left. It's a tough deficit for Cerebral Moxie to overcome when we had this stalemate situation of not a lot of goals in the past 2 minutes. So Cerebral Moxie can't just let Handicracked get the freedom, have the comfortability to maneuver around the field, to have the ball, to do whatever they want. Cerebral Moxie gonna have to take the risks to see if they can tie the series or tie the game, as Fear the Nub's getting chased into the corner, maybe getting overwhelmed. Solo with the demo, gives the ball to Handicracked, which may be able. No, did not get this in the net. I thought that was in.
Yeah, very, very close. They're rolling essentially right in front of the Cerebral Moxie goal, but does not connect. However, it will be enough for Handicracked. Clock is counting down, 1 second left to play, and as soon as that touches the field, it's going to be all she wrote here. Last attempt, keeping the ball up, and there it is. Handicracked going to take game 1 here against Cerebral Moxie.
All 3 of those goals going to Solo. Fantastic hat trick. I mean, he had the solo play to even things up, and this was a very tense, close game where Cerebral Moxie were always in that shadow of Handicracked, only being down by 1 goal. But what really sealed the deal was, I think, a defensive flub on Cerebral Moxie's side, which gave that extra 2-goal lead to Handicracked. But we're so used to uncontrollables beating everyone, getting to that 7-goal limit, that now that we have a tense match like this, I'm excited.
Yeah, really close match back and forth. And like you kind of mentioned, it was that one post-to-post play where I think Cerebral Moxie just didn't have the read on that. Such an unconventional ball path, too, for it to take. And it just so happened that Solo was kind of at the back line, just waiting to clean that one up. And ball bouncing in their favor. But here we're going into game number 2. We'll have to see if Cerebral Moxie made a few of those adjustments in between, or if Solo is going to be able to continue to carry and put goals on the board for Handicracked. I think the one thing Cerebral Moxie might just need to do a little bit is just get a little bit more aggressive on their offense. The shot attempts were the difference, but Solo able to read the defender like a book and get Handicracked on the board first.
Yeah, I can tell Solo Mechanics Solo has the mechanics to get these done. Even before this play, he went for a pogo attempt with his car bouncing to just try to get this upwards angle on the ball. Saw the challenge, had the perfect angle on the flick, and this one is also for free.
Wow, Dracus with a great kickoff goal here. Doing it all themselves. You see, winning the kickoff off the sidewall and able to hit that angle right into the net. Bubbling Kettle tried to get back onto defense to make the save, but was just slightly behind on that play. Now we have Solo off the kickoff yet again. Bubbling Kettle will get the touch in the corner, trying to slow down this offensive push out of Handicracked. Here we have Solo with the pinch off the wall. Fear the Nub has possession for the time being. But Solo yet again in this corner trying to make a play.
Cerebral Moxie look like they've just taken a step back, but this could, wow, the long clear. I wasn't sure if that was going to be centered out enough, but that's the type of response we needed from Cerebral Moxie, who are seemingly going for this counterattack strategy of letting Handicracked go for offenses. Cerebral Moxie put up the wall and then send it all the way down, but Cerebral Moxie, can they find those clears consistently, or are Handicracked going to continue to create the gaps they need to get this kind of very convincing lead?
Yeah, I think as long as Handicracked is kind of overcommitting on offense like they were on that play, Cerebral Moxie is happy to play that slow and look for those long clears into goal conversions. Just have to see if they're able to replicate that in order to tie this one up at 2s. So far, it's Solo yet again with the ball in this corner, trying to find the angle, but it's Fear the Nub hustling back on defense to get that save.
He's made a lot of miracles happen, that Fear the Nub, for Cerebral Moxie. Great touches in these moments where you know there's going to be that second touch from the offense, and that should be a goal. And Fear the Nub is always there to save the day, but Solo trying to connect with his teammate there, Dracus, and Cerebral Moxie just breaking up those passing plays and finding a moment to clear. That's where Cerebral Moxie like to shine. And always being down by 1 goal, Cerebral Moxie know that it just takes one to come back in this series, and they can play this patient. They don't have to be too antsy. We could see Solo bringing the creativity, winning the challenge, or really just dangling Fear the Nub there in the corner, giving Handicracked some space, a lane to work with. But it's tough for Handicracked to break this egg.
Yeah, Cerebral Moxie just really stuck back on defense at this point in time, but as long as Fear the Nub is making those great saves, I'm sure they're happy to do just that. Play it patient and look for those shot attempts. Here we have Fear trying to make a play. It's going to be contested, and now we have Dracus getting the offense started for Handicracked. It's Bubbling Kettle with the touch. Can he get it by Solo, though? Does manage to strongly win that 50-50. But that challenge is still going to be slightly in Cerebral Moxie's favor as they try to find a shot attempt off this play here. Trying to center that one up, but it's going to be Dracus knocking that one away to Solo. Carrying that ball into the orange corner, and thankfully Bubbling Kettle is there to stop that push.
Yeah, Cerebral Moxie might just have to continue relying on the counterattacks, because once Handicracked are set up on the defense, it seems really difficult. Now that's a 50 that pops up. Which second member can go and finish off that play? Well, it's the defense that salvage it. Solo tries to slow down the play. Now a lot of boost is missing, so Handicracked, Dracus being careful with this, can't seem to slice into that net thanks to Fear the Nub, who is in that 1v1 against Solo. Great challenge to clears, even better demo, 2-on-1, as Solo and Dracus work their way to that 3rd goal, but it's denied again.
Yeah, great patience by Cerebral Moxie despite being that player down after the demo occurred. Still managed to save that shot attempt from Handicracked. Now we have Dracus trying to get something going here. Gets it over 1 defender, but can't get it by Fear the Nub. So he's able to clear that one down to midfield. Solo now off the backboard, but Bubbling Kettle's there for the touch. Can we get the other save? Fear the Nub is there yet again to stop that shot on net. But again, Cerebral Moxie needs to get back and get some offense going here. Still trailing by 1 with less than a minute left to play. They're looking for another one of these big clears, and could this be the shot here?
Just the fact that Solo went for a double flip reset and didn't get anything. These defenses are excellent from both sides. This is only a 2-1 game. We're in a 2s match. This should be a lot more high scoring with, well, that 3rd man isn't there to protect you. But that's how quick these players are at rotations. Shot towards the net, easily saved by Bubbling Kettle. Ball gets in front of him. Solo sees that space, still continues to attack. 13 seconds left. Handicracked are doing everything they can to make them uncomfortable. This goes down the field, and a slam dunk by Solo.
Solo just able to get the perfect touch here. It was a great offensive push from Cerebral Moxie as well. but just playing that challenge angle so perfectly. You saw Bubbling Kettle trying to get back on defense to stop that one from going in. But now it's a repeat of game number 1 here, as just a few seconds are left on the clock. And Handicracked yet again going to close this one out 3-1.
And it's match point for Handicracked. And you look at someone like Solo, who is just so aggressive, so many touches, so many centered out balls. And whenever Solo can't get it done himself, Dracus is always in a good position, either in the box, in front of the box, ready to just jump on the play if Solo can't do it all himself. And Solo's constantly challenging the ball. They created a lot more opportunities for themselves. And even though it was only 2-1 within 1-goal territory, the Handicracked are always good at just getting that third goal right at the last 30 seconds to kill the chances.
Yeah, they're able to find that final second goal to just put it out of reach for Fear the Nub and Bubbling Kettle. But amazing defense, I think, out of Cerebral Moxie. Just looking at the shot attempts and saves, it's just, again, you know, completing that total picture, having the full package, and getting some more offense going for Cerebral Moxie. That's really kind of the missing piece there. So I think if they're able to just have more possessions on offense, it's going to be a much closer game. I mean, it's close already, but I think Cerebral Moxie will just give themselves the best chance at winning one of these. But for the time being, Handicracked is on match point. They just need one more game to secure the victory here against the orange team. We'll have to see if they can do it now.
So midfield control by Cerebral Moxie. I felt like the possession from Handicracked was shaky, and Cerebral Moxie can try to identify these moments a bit better to jump on the ball, make at least Handicracked uncomfortable. Even if you leave your last defender in a 2v1, it's those types of risks that you take that can convert these goals, and I think Handicracked are doing that a lot more. Dracus collides with that defender, unable to cross the goal line.
Bubbling Kettle here has possession, but doesn't have any boost in the tank, so that's going to limit some of the offensive ability out of the orange team. With that play is going to come to a stop, but it's Dracus making the shot attempt, but Fear the Nub has the rotation yet again with a miracle save.
How does Fear the Nub keep doing that? I swear Handicracked would be up by so many more goals. Their high score is 3. And they have Fear the Nub to thank for that. These crazy goal line saves, he makes it happen. But how do you trans that type of intelligence to an offensive play? Well, you just haven't been able to crack the Handicracked defense. And Cerebral Moxie, the counterattacks, being able to get these long clears is how they catch Handicracked off guard. But even Dracus knows he has his rotations on point. It's tough to get past him.
Yeah, they're starting to be able to read that Cerebral Moxie play of just trying to get those long clears to beat the defensive rotation back. Now you have Dracus making that rotation early to slow down a lot of that Cerebral Moxie offense that they've been looking for. So orange team probably going to have to change things up a little bit as Solo continues to try to take that one into the net himself. It's going to be Bubbling Kettle now up for this one. Trying to win that 50, but it's about even. Solo will come away with the ball, however. Again, looking for this corner play. Can't cut back to it. Dracus has the touch, but it's Bubbling Kettle there for the save.
I'm surprised this is still a 0-0 score. Both teams kind of relaxing on the play, especially Handicracked, who are on match point. It's not been the easiest of wins. Fear the Nub with the flick above both defenders. That's how he gets it done.
Beautiful play there out of Fear the Nub, and I think that's exactly what Cerebral Moxie needs here. You can see the smile on the face after that play. A well-deserved first goal here for the orange team.
Ooh. We go into the half 1-0 for Cerebral Moxie. First time we've seen them in a lead since, well, the Game 1 kickoff. Where Cerebral Moxie, it's not one star of the show, it's a team that unified together on the field, and they either stand together or fall together, and that's what you got to applaud about Cerebral Moxie. But you're seeing the confidence start to build when Fear the Nub can win a 1v2 like that, time the flicks very well. Now he sets up Bubbling Kettle, who just missed out on that touch by an inch. Handicracked just a bit quicker on that approach. And speaking of which, they're trying to find the tying goal, and it's a 2-on-1, and Solo breaks through.
Kind of changing up the speed there on this shot. Solo really has been a player looking for these kind of hard shot attempts to really speed that ball by the defender, but slowing things down just a little bit makes it tough for Bubbling Kettle to read that play. So that's going to tie us up at ones as we hit 2 minutes left to play. Solo looking for a pinch pass. Bubbling Kettle now no boost, so be limited in the shot attempts he can take. Dracus, though, is there to try to keep this one on the orange side of the pitch, but it's a touch. Fear the nub centered that one up, but thankfully Solo got back on defense. It's a taste of their own medicine as Solo, yet again with a coast-to-coast clear that finds itself in the net.
And back-to-back goals for Solo, this one coming from the midfield. Just even if there was a defender there, that upper 90 is so difficult to defend, and the fact that the first goal came at the 2-minute mark, the second one at the minute 30, that's just not a lot of time, and such a quick and deadly response by Solo and the team of Handicracked. So Cerebral Moxie find themselves at a deficit and staring down the barrel of match point, needing to just have a better showing in the standings and in pool play, and winning matches is like this is how they can perform at the peak. Minute left, Handicracked will not let Cerebral Moxie have possession without always going for a challenge. Even Dracus does that and almost sets up the ball in front of the net. Solo wanted it so bad, and Fear the Nub won't let it happen.
Yeah, Cerebral Moxie trying to get that same offense going that they had early on in this game, but it's, an amazing passing play from Dracus. Solo manages to get the perfect touch here. Dracus centers this one up off the backboard. Solo and Bubbling Kettle just couldn't get the right angle to get that clear, so it's going to bounce off the top bar and find itself in the net. It's almost the exact same story as we've seen in game 1 and 2. Handicracked with a 3-1 lead over Cerebral Moxie.
Oh, good save there by Solo. Cerebral Moxie's counterattack was looking very fast. Handicracked are very good on their 2-on-1 executions. They're scoring a lot more often. Look at Dracus, almost dribbled this in. Barely saved by Bubbling Kettle. But once Cerebral Moxie saved these, maintaining possession is key. Having that second member read where that rebound is going and absolutely send it when, well, the offense is at their feet. Cerebral Moxie find themselves behind in the series. They were ahead in this game 3, hoping for the reverse sweep, but it's not going to happen. 3-1 ends game 1, game 2, game 3. Deja vu, but a sweep nonetheless for Handicracked.
Yeah, Handicracked, performing really well there, especially under pressure. I think that was kind of the question, is Cerebral Moxie got on the board first there in game number 3, but it was business as usual for Handicracked. They stuck to their game plan that had been working for them the entire series, and yeah, I mean, the consistency. I think Handicracked definitely gets the award for most consistent team here in AET with 3-1 victories in almost the exact same way, game after game.
But only 2 hat tricks. Why not 3 hat tricks, Solo? Dracus, why are you scoring? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, ruining the perfect play there. No, congratulations, I think, to Handicracked, definitely a team to keep your eye on. But I think Cerebral Moxie there, too. Another one of those teams that just a few adjustments, definitely. I think either one of those 3 games could have gone their way. It was really just getting that offense going. And I think if they can focus on that a little bit more, the defense is going to carry them from that point on. I think Cerebral Moxie, probably some of the strongest defenders we've seen so far in these brackets and in these matches. But yeah, it's just getting a little bit of offense going there. And I think that could be an even closer series for either one of these teams.
But it's just great to see the new talent. These are 2 teams that have qualified into pool play, and this is their first match of pool play, so now you're getting a taste of what the competition is like, some of the best of the best. That's what I like about this format, is you take the best teams out of these brackets, you put them into pool play, and then they all duke it out. So Handicracked thought, yeah, we're the best.
Right.
But wait till you face the best.
Yeah, now they get into the mix of our top teams in that pool play, and that's going to be the next 2 matches we have on stream for you guys. But before we get into those, we're going to throw it to a brief commercial break, and then we'll be back with our pool play matches. So stay tuned. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with Adaptive Esports Tournaments Qualifier number 3. We just saw our grand finals match between Handicracked and Cerebral Moxie. Of course, going 3-0 in favor of Handicracked, but I really feel like any one of those matches could have gone either way.
Yeah, I hope that they continue to face off in Pool Player in the future because they seem like two teams that could just go head-to-head, toe-to-toe, and that scoreline could very much change when Cerebral Moxie get a lot more experience, a lot more confidence on the field to be as aggressive as Solo was, who got that many hat tricks. But speaking of an aggressive player, we got Uncontrollables being featured next.
Yeah, so they're going to be joining us on stream yet again. Of course, that is Ashley and Fitz. I'm not sure if he's going to be playing as Fitz or Pandemonium here today, but it's the same individual, just with a little name change from time to time. But yeah, Ashley is definitely that superstar of the AET right now. It's really been a question of not even can you beat them. I think teams first are just looking to match pace with them and kind of slow them down and then slowly start to chip away and try to eventually take a game off them. But so far, they are entirely undefeated this season, despite a couple of games being close. I think last week we saw one that was maybe 4-1 or 4-2, somewhere in that range. But I also think they have the most 7-goal kind of limit victories this season as well. So definitely a dangerous team to go up against.
I'm not sure if I was talking to Just Right about this or someone else, where a lot of the teams are very aware of the skill that's on Uncontrollables, and it's almost like the first goal that I've been told is to not get 7-goal limit ended on by Uncontrollables. So to not get smashed, first off. 2, can you just end it in normal regulation? Can you score on them? Because this is like a rank difference, it feels like, where for anyone who's watching this for the first time, Ashley is like the best player in the league.
He's like top 20 even in Rocket League in 1v1s.
Probably. Yeah, I don't doubt that, because it was like double flip resets to wall pinches, ground pinches, like all the mechanics you can think of, ceiling resets. Like Ashley is styling on people where you could attempt to defend, but there is no saving what Ashley puts on.
Yeah, it is really just kind of that skill difference at the start, and teams are looking for ways to be able to contest and slow them down. And like you said, it's kind of a checklist of, okay, let's, limit them from getting 7 goals. We did that great, check it off the list. And then let's see, can we get them to only 6 goals? Check, great, perfect. Can we get a goal? Holy, all right, we're starting to make some progress here. But I think that is the great sentiment, though, amongst the teams in AET is, you kind of mentioned it without saying it directly, but it's not like, oh man, this stinks. Like they're just going to beat us. This is unfair, or this is, why are they, competing here? They're crushing us. It's more like, yeah, no, there's a new challenge, and all these teams are looking to take up that challenge and kind of improve, and we saw that in the previous matches with like Solitude and Disbel, right? I think I said it at the top of the show, but the things that we saw from qualifier number 1 to number 2 that they were able to improve on, then kind of, your eyebrow raises a little bit, your ears perk up, and you're like, maybe they have a chance. They're making some of those moves to, start to be able to contest, and even with some of the other teams, right? Yeah, it's just like, hey, this was a close game. We limited them to only 4 goals. That's like a victory in and of itself. And yeah, you just take those kind of step-by-step checklists, and that's really kind of the roadmap to improvement at Rocket League. So it's going to be exciting to see both Ashley just kind of be stylish out there in Rocket League, but also fun to see how these teams kind of have progressed and if they have any strategies up their sleeve to be able to slow down the Uncontrollables.
And that's the thing. There are some players that are motivated with a very difficult final boss in a video game. That's what I consider Uncontrollables, the final boss of Adaptive Esports. And there are some people that would want to put the controller down, and some people, and most people I would say, especially ones of competitive nature, want that chance and will keep trying and trying and trying, and it helps them self-improve. And right out the gates, Ashley just seems to overwhelm that defense for the first goal.
Yep, Ashley able to get on the board first here for the uncontrollables. You see Solo try to make that play, but it looks like got stuck on the wall just a little bit. So Solo in a good position, but so a little bit of a misstep there and getting out of the net to slow that one down. But I will say the thing that is jumping out to me the most here in this first game is that Handicracked has kind of switched pace. So from what we saw them play against Cerebral Moxie, a little bit of a slower, more controlled, more methodical play style, but knowing that they're going up against the uncontrollables, they definitely kind of turned on the afterburners a little bit, are playing a little bit faster, trying to make sure they can match pace against Ashley and Pandemonium. And, you know, so far, about a minute into this one, only limiting them to 1 goal and being able to get a great clear like that is definitely, you know, some momentum in the right direction.
And someone like Ashley loves to go for these double taps, received a great pass just now from Pandemonium. And you can't underestimate how much value Pandemonium brings to that table too, of how they're setting up Ashley to go for these plays, or just the awareness of when they have the space to go for these stylish plays. And Handicrack didn't show too much of that. I mean, Solo was definitely that solo player who got some flip resets done. Mechanics, I think, can still get warmed up, and now that they're facing a truly tough challenger, Solo, I think, has to play at their peak to try and keep Handicracked in the game.
You see a demo coming through from Pandemonium, so it's going to take 1 player of Handicracked out for the time being. Solo will get a shot attempt. Not the most powerful clear from the uncontrollables, so that'll allow Dracus to try to keep this one on the orange side of the field, but it's Ashley going over 1 defender. Can't get it by Solo, however, and now Dracus is trying to go for the fast break play here.
Oh, does he get it? Oh, he took a second to readjust off the wall. Dracus, that was almost such an incredible counterattack move, but oh, that net was almost left open. Dracus with a miraculous save, rotating back, but Uncontrollable still have the ball. Ash right behind Pandemonium there. They maintain possession, throwing it up to the back wall. Ashley even follows up with the challenge, which is constantly shaking up possession for Handicracked, seeming like they're trapped in their own end, because even midfield control favors Uncontrollables until Solo can break through, and Handicracked won't keep their backs against the wall.
Great control out of Ashley on that play there, able to get the save and also bring that ball down to the ground, try to get a dribble play going, but now it's Solo. Ball into the corner boost will be stolen away, so Handicracked will have to rotate back onto defense, and Ashley tries to flick that one into the bottom left corner, but Dracus is there with another fantastic save, but a crazy pinch is going to go just wide to the right as the Uncontrollables still only have a 1-0 lead.
And Handicracked only gave up 1 goal per game in that last series, so their defense continues to be so difficult to slice open, and Uncontrollables may just have to break out those mechanics, those flip resets, the double taps, using that back wall a little bit more. You're seeing Handicracked trying to do just that. Well defended by the members of Uncontrollables. Looks like Solo trying to go to areas of the field where, well, Ashley and friends are not. Now pinching it off the ceiling towards Dracus. It doesn't connect to the back of the net, but here comes the counterattack of Uncontrollables.
Wow, great dig there from Solo to get that one redirected. Oh, another attempt at a shot. Ashley is there for a great save. We have Pandemonium trying to make a play happen. The demo is going to come through. Solo will be down for the count for the time being. That ball slowly floating through the air will give him time to spawn back in. Now Pandemonium hunting for an angle. Got Ashley waiting in the wings. This one sent to the other corner. Ashley now has the touch, but doesn't have the shot attempt. Solo, no boost. Gonna need to find some to keep the defense available as the Uncontrollables continue to fish for a shot here. 5 seconds left to play. Can Handicracked find a tying goal?
This is the opportunity. They're on the offense. Dracus with the setup, and no! That second player unable to cut through that left side. That was up to, well, Solo to make the hero play happen. Uncontrollables, they went up 1-0 early, but Handicraft didn't just stopped every opportunity. 6 shots that Ash put on, and usually that is 100% execution for them.
Yeah.
So Handicraft definitely kept them at bay.
Yeah, that was, I mean, for sure, the closest game we've seen between the Uncontrollables and anyone. It's going to be interesting to see how this series continues to progress, because we have seen that from the Uncontrollables before, where it's kind of a slow start early game, and then they really kind of turn up the heat and start to hit those 7-goal victories. But it's never been 1-0. It's usually been, okay, 4 or 5 to a few goals. It's never been 1-0, and there was an attempt there, too, at the very end. We're talking like a centimeter off from the hood, making contact with that ball and having a shot attempt before it hit the ground. So we'll have to see how this series continues to play out. This one is definitely the closest we've seen those so far. A demo coming through from Solo, but it's Ashley able to intercept that one and get the goal on the board first. So what was a great opportunity for Handicraft taken away almost immediately by Ashley.
And what a pass from Pandemonium. Beautifully set up when Ashley is standing in place and the pass is beautifully accurately towards them to take the shot. That is synergy next level. And I have this feeling Uncontrollables haven't even shown their peak potential. Look at that. It took, a minute to get 1 goal, and that's all Uncontrollables really tried or were able to do game 1, and this is them starting to fully unlock.
Yeah, it's almost like, game 1 was hitting the snooze on the alarm. They said 5 more minutes. Game 2 will show up. 5 more minutes, and then we'll start to turn the heat up on our opponents. That one, a tough break off that kickoff. Not even sure if that was intentional, but it's going to be the Uncontrollables winning that one, sneaking it by. Yeah, Solo just misreading that kickoff ever so slightly is going to give the Uncontrollables a big lead early in game number 2.
Might be hitting that snooze alarm, but in the Handicraft camp, you're setting off the fire alarms. 20 seconds, 3 goals, a hat trick from Ashley. Insane. Look at this dribble, redirecting, centering it out towards the net. Here's Pandemonium with the finish. No one's home. 4-0 for Uncontrollables.
I feel like they were listening to the stream and just were, saying, hey, no, the first game was a fluke. We can still hit 7 goals, and now they're proving it to us here that they are not losing speed at all, not losing place at all on top of that standings leaderboard. 4-0 now, as barely 30 seconds being played in game number 2. Pandemonium with control yet again. Going to send this one over to Ashley. Handicraft still trying to get a shot attempt here out of this play. Unable to find one just yet. Side boost stolen away by Ashley. Has the pinch off the wall. Is he going to get this one back in his possession? A brief touch from Handicraft, but that does not slow down the Uncontrollables. Pandemonium with a killer bump there, setting up Ashley for yet another goal.
Ashley is such a smart player and one that brings a lot of experience. Even before this play turned into a counterattack, Ashley actually went for a back pass, so shooting it towards their own back wall to then have the bounce come out in the midfield. You draw Handicraft towards your own end, which created so much space for Uncontrollables to go in. It's only been a minute of gameplay, and we're almost in a mercy territory.
Yeah, and I'm sure Handicraft is thankful that 7-goal limit is in place, as the Uncontrollables have just been on fire here in game number 2. 2 kickoff goals to their name as well. It's been nothing short of impressive. We'll have to see if Handicraft can start to get things back going their way. There is a goal scored, a nice play there. The pass from Solo coming through to Dracus. Like to see that. Need to see a little bit more of that, as it looks like game number 2 might have just gotten away from them compared to game number 1, and now Handicraft is finding their footing yet again.
Solo said, defenders not on my watch. Demos one and bumps the other out of the way. You could not have a more easy goal set up for Dracus than that. Solo is an incredible player on his own, and now he's getting demoed. And I think Handicraft did a good job in game 1 to put a lot of coverage on Ashley, just to mark them and just see what they're up to at all times. What positions are they taking? What is the intention behind their touches? and trying to predict what Uncontrollables were doing was a way that Handicracked, I think, slowed down that pace and made it more difficult for Uncontrollables to score. But this snowball turned into an avalanche, which Mercy Rule at the ready. Ashley said, no, I want more Rocket League. Stopped his own teammate's goal there.
Ashley being the third defender for a moment there out on the pitch, but even manages to rotate all the way back to get that save. And we'll have to see Pandemonium sending this one on to the purple side. Does Ashley have a play here? A nice little pinch one, but doesn't have the cutback just yet. Manages to secure the corner boost. But it's going to be Handicracked, and Drakus sending that one to the other end and getting a second goal on the board.
And we talked about the potential of Handicracked really leaning into the counterattacks. When Uncontrollables go for offense, they're both full sending it, leaving their defenses, leaving the midfield wide open. If Handicracked can get clears that go above and past them, and then have the boost in the tank to speed past them, that's how Handicracked can hopefully live through the offenses of Uncontrollables, but also clap back at them afterwards. What a flick by Drakus! Solo denied that second touch. Save there by Ashley.
Ashley, huge awareness on that play, because not only was he holding on to that midfield position, he actually timed that side boost perfectly so that he'd have enough to hustle back on defense and make that save. So it's a lot of times those tiny advantages that the Uncontrollables are finding that are making all of the difference. But there's Solo, another great defensive play, able to send that one away, even has the follow-up. But now, possession in the hands of Ashley. Going to get one flip, but two defenders there. Solo going to redirect this one, slow down that offensive pressure. Minute 40 left to play. As Ashley's up for it yet again. Pandemonium does have the demo. It's only Solo at the net. It's going to be Ashley sending the 7th goal through and moving us on to game number 3.
That's what's so difficult about defending against Ashley. What a reset. You saw Solo in the net just being prepared for anything, but Ashley is so quick at using that reset to readjust the ball in a position that is just, you don't have the time to react to. 7-2. Uncontrollables left Handicracked to start playing at the half, where Handicracked got 2 goals in a row. I wasn't going to call the comeback 6-2. There was a lot of work that Handicracked had to do with the Mercy Rule right at the edge.
Yeah.
But I still got to applaud Handicracked for making that more and more difficult and then just bouncing back after getting, smashed kind of 5-0 at the start.
And a lot of just unfortunate kind of events happening, right? 2 kickoff goals that were probably preventable, but you just need to be on the lookout for those. The first goal was, Solo kind of getting caught in the net, just not in a great position, just slightly misaligned there. So, you take 3 of those goals away, and it's looking much more favorable towards Handicracked. But that is kind of the aura of Uncontrollables, right? They simply load into the match, and you're already nervous, even at 0-0. So you just have to be able to maintain that composure throughout the series, and I think Handicracked managed to do that despite a tough loss in game number 2. The 2 goals really show that kind of perseverance there and the willingness to continue to battle back against the Uncontrollables.
And the best you can hope for when you face a team that seemingly have such a big skill difference in their favor is that you don't want to lose to yourself, you want the other team to win, and things like that where Solo can really make a huge play happen. First, this 50 goes to the ceiling where Ash just couldn't find the clear fast enough, and then while the ball is above the car, Solo had a free shot towards the net.
Yeah, and those opportunities, you've got to be willing to take those and, catch the Uncontrollables playing a little lax, maybe a little bit unaware, and Solo's able to capitalize on that, convert it into a goal. But there is Ashley with the answer. Pandemonium even getting the demo. It's tied up 1-1 in the blink of an eye.
Good attempt at the clear there from Solo, but just a little too far to the right on the ball from our perspective. So again, angles are important in this game, and Uncontrollables identified how to take the shot in the net to prevent the clear. And a quick response from Uncontrollables, bar down. Pandemonium using boost to even just try to bump Solo off the ball, but now Solo's out of boost, leaves it up to Drakus. Ashley's in the net. reads this like a book and puts it in the corner.
Yeah, great save yet again from Ashley, and now they're looking to convert on offense. Over to Pandemonium and able to find that precious angle you were just speaking of to take the lead right back. 2-1 now in favor of the Uncontrollables.
Now Pandemonium gets the score without Ashley getting in the way this time.
Doesn't have to worry about his own teammate bumping him on that one.
Well, to be fair, Ashley trying to redirect, and sometimes you block your own shots. Sometimes you're your own worst enemy. But Uncontrollables up by 1, leaving that midfield control, trying to draw out these defenders of Handicracked out of their own end, giving Uncontrollables maybe an easier time to score. But Handicracked not only left their own end, they commanded the field and put on a shot in the direction of the net, not necessarily on target, as Handicracked looking for the tying goal, and this is Solo needing that second touch, but the bounce went up the wall instead of right back towards him. Unlucky physics there, but Handicracked are trying to salvage the situation.
Yeah, I like Handicrack's kind of, willingness to play a little scrappy there, not necessarily needing the perfect touch to try to make a play happen. And with the last few possessions, it looks like the Uncontrollables were a little bit uncomfortable with some of the angles and just passes that Handicracked were trying to force the issue on. So I like that slight adjustment from Handicracked, just trying to take what they can get against Ashley and Pandemonium. And so far, this is looking more favorable for Handicracked, as Uncontrollables haven't rallied 3 kickoff goals in a row to really set them back. So playing a little bit more patient. Tough miss there. Now Ashley has potentially the setup, but it's Drakus up for it with a good touch.
I like that Handicracked are very aware of their back wall too. They know that's what Uncontrollables like to abuse on their offense. And a lot of opportunities limited in both Game 1 and now Game 3. I felt like Game 2 got away from Handicracked, got overwhelmed, and the avalanche began in favor of Uncontrollables. But now that Handicracked know how they like to score, they know how they like to set up. That's Drakus conceding the ball though to Pandemonium. That back wall unprotected, as I spoke about, and the final touch from Ashley as ball is on the ground. What a play.
The triple tap there from Ashley, as that one finally going to find the net, just slowly chipping away at the defense. Solo and Drakus, nothing they could do at that point. Uncontrollables now have the 3-1 victory as we near the 2-minute warning. Game number 3 here. Uncontrollables looking to put this one away as Pandemonium has the shot from midfield and it finds the net.
I wish we had Ashley's cam or Pandemonium's cam, because I just wonder, are you giggling? Are you getting giddy every time you score? Like when you pull off mechanics like they've been doing, when they force mistakes out of the defense? Is this like a hilarious time, or are
How
they
are the
just
vibes?
Yeah, or is this another day at the office? Is this a challenge to someone like Uncontrollables? Because to us it seems like a challenge with how low scoring this has been in comparison to all the other matches we've witnessed out of Uncontrollables. Now less than 2 minutes, Handicracked down by 3. It's not impossible, but it is difficult.
Yeah, I will say, I think, I don't have the exact statistics with me, but with that game number 1, Uncontrollables only winning 1-0, I think this is the lowest scoring series for the Uncontrollables. And that could be a sign that, Handicracked might be their toughest opponents yet. At the very least, their defense has been able to slow them down the most. And like we were kind of mentioning with that checklist for a lot of teams, that's, the first step, the first check mark along that path to being able to defeat the Uncontrollables. So things look good for Handicracked. It's kind of what we expect out of Uncontrollables, high-scoring games, but the fact they've been able to limit them so far in their scoring ability is definitely a sign here that things could slowly turn in favor down the road for Handicracked.
And Ashley just had a double flip or a flip reset moment where Pandemonium was too far up in the box. And there's the counterattack that Handicracked could take advantage of when Uncontrollables find themselves out of position, when they find themselves with not enough boost to rotate back. And I think an Uncontrollable member got locked up in a challenge where they couldn't recover fast enough. So good job by Handicracked in that moment, now only down by 2.
Yeah, this one's still within reach with the way Handicracked has been playing defense and the opportunities they've been able to find on offense. Uncontrollables probably want to find a goal here pretty quick just to give themselves that comfort, that cushion to be able to close out this series. And Handicracked going to be trying to fight for a goal here, but unfortunately, that offensive overcommit opens up that net, and Ashley's able to take perfect advantage of the situation.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what the second person is from Handicracked, because I know one of them lost the challenge to, well, Ashley. And usually it's characteristic for Handicracked to have really good rotations. Usually you expect Drakus to be in that position, and if he's the one who failed the challenge, then that's how I could see a Handicracked being all out of sorts. 15 seconds though, as Uncontrollables, they head to the ceiling, to the skies, resets available. Early bump there from Handicracked, and you can't just sit there in awe and watch Ashley get away with what they do. This will be keeping Uncontrollables at only a 5-2 win, but still a good challenge.
I wish that one found the net right on the line there, as Handicracked unfortunately will fall in this series, but I think a great showing. Probably the team that's given the Uncontrollables the biggest run for their money so far in this season of AET.
And this is the first time that Handicracked have faced Uncontrollables, and for them to take, or no, they didn't take game one, but for game one to only be 1-0 for Uncontrollables is a great showing for the first time. So imagine when they keep facing in pool play, if they face in the other tournaments, the finals, how different this will be, and how much more homework Handicracked can do to try to shut down Ashley, try to shut down the passing plays from Pandemonium. Because as much as we hype up Ashley, they are a unit that you have to intercept both the single player going for solo mechanics and the passes that Pandemonium gives.
Yeah, and I will say, you know, throughout pool play and the matches we've seen Uncontrollables play, it's definitely them kind of having to fall back more on that teamwork. Early on, we just kind of saw Ashley make 1v2 plays
all the time.
Time after time, and teams really didn't have an answer. But now they're forcing Uncontrollables to use and utilize Pandemonium. He's having to get involved more, so that's a good sign that, they're forcing Uncontrollables to really play the game. It's not just like, okay, can we stop Ashley? Well, yeah, I think teams have been able to do that, and that's forcing that teamwork out of them. And like we saw in that game number one, low scoring, that's kind of the next, step on that path to victory. So a great showing from Handicracked, even coming back off of that grand final, not a lot of time to rest, still a close series there. So a great series, I think, between these two teams. We've yet to see Uncontrollables lose, but we're getting close. We're getting close with that 1-0 victory that we did see. So with that, that's going to be our first pool play match of the day. We've got one more match remaining. So we're going to throw it to a brief commercial break, and we'll be right back with our final match of the day. Stay tuned.
Legend behavior, legend behavior. Locked in, locked in, locked in. Y'all know what time it is. Locked in, locked in, locked in. Play. I make the rules, rack up the jewels, make it look smooth. You know how I do. Running this kingdom, wish you could be. Better look up, cause that's where you see me. Give me the crown now, cause I own the throne now. I hold the scroll now, I'm in control now. Ruling the game. Locked in, locked in. I'm ruling the game. Always locked in.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Adaptive Esports Tournaments. This is our final match here of the day, and of course this is qualifier number 3, so just one more qualifier remaining before we get into our season finals, which again is happening on September 1st. But before we get into our final match, we have another giveaway for you guys. Of course, thank you again to our partners at Chipotle. They have another entree giveaway for you guys, and for this one, all you need to do is text LUV932 to 888-222, and if you do that, you'll have the chance to win a free entree from Chipotle. So once again, that code is LUV932 to 888-222, and you'll have a chance to win that free entree. Thanks again to our partners at Chipotle. But now, Lemon Kiwi, we have one more match here, and I think this is going to be our closest one of the day. We've got Juicy Ride going up against Cerebral Moxie.
I'm excited for this. Cerebral Moxie had a strong showing at the beginning. That's Fear the Nub and Bubbling Kettle. I think what was best about them was their defense.
Yeah.
Fear the Nub is just having these crazy diving saves in the net, stopping everything he can. But what Cerebral Moxie kind of failed to do against Handicracked is turning that defense, those saves, into a clear, into a counterattack, something productive on the offensive end of things, where they weren't able to take up that space and that commanding presence on the field. And that's where we hope that during this kind of one match sort of quick break for them, that they had a snack and they are going to have
typed in our Chipotle code, had an opportunity there, got the order on the way. But I think these two teams kind of, you can see the similarities in how they play, their play styles. You have one player who's kind of looking for the offensive plays, and then like you mentioned, Fear the Nub on defense. I think it's similarly mirrored with Juicy Ride and in their kind of play style, very teamwork oriented, a little bit more calculated than, say, I think, I would put kind of Uncontrollables and Disability with Solitude and Disbol in their own, maybe a little bit more aggressive category. They play a little bit faster, are more willing to like make some mistakes. They'll risk an empty net, in favor of an offensive play or a goal. They're kind of a little bit more high risk, high reward, where I think these two teams very calculated in their approach, really teamwork oriented. So I think between these two, it's really a toss up on who I see coming out on top.
Yeah, and speaking of, Disability and Uncontrollables, I kind of rank them, 1 and 2, and Uncontrollables in their own bracket, as you said, but I find a Juicy Ride to be in that number 3 spot. Maybe it's because I've seen just so much play from them, but they were, I think, our 3rd team to qualify into pool play. They have a lot of experience together. They got the name that's already synergized of a Juicebox and Just Ride, I believe. So they fit together like peanut butter and jelly. They're stoked to be together. We got the cams up, so I get to see the reaction of, is this another day at the office? Are they stoked? Are they hyping each other up?
I think they're all hyped because they didn't have to play Uncontrollables today, so it's already starting off on a good note for these two squads, but we'll have to see. Is that one going to be redirected slightly? Just Ride now has a big clear over to Juicebox, but it's Fear the Nub up yet again with a great defensive play. Just Ride able to sneak that one under. It's Bubbling Kettle with another touch to stop that one from finding the net. 30 seconds played, no goals scored. Juicebox tries to get the touch, but thankfully Just Ride is there to intercept that one. Goes for the pinch. Bubbling Kettle's going to fly underneath, but Fear the Nub is there with the backup to keep this one on the purple side.
Good attempt by Fear the Nub, won the 50 and almost had himself set up to get the second touch to take a shot, and an elevated shot towards the net, where you would have liked that first goal for Cerebral Moxie. Fear the Nub, I think, has done so much work on the defense. We've talked about that, and that offense is still developing, and so is Juicy Rides. Everyone collided in the air. The quicker recovery, though, goes to Bubbling Kettle. You see the rotations from Juicy Ride, both defenders back in their end. Where bump after challenge, Cerebral Moxie get a shot from the side. Yeah,
great goal found there from Fear the Nub. Was able to just find that perfect angle. Juicebox just couldn't cut back in time. That's going to be Cerebral Moxie up on the board first, but I think definitely what we were kind of talking about before this series started. calculated plays out of both of these squads, wanting to almost ensure that opportunity to get the goal scored. Now we have Fear the Nub trying to make a play yet again. Bubbling Kettle has the backup. It's Juicebox with the touch on the sidewall. Going to carry this one to the opposite side of the pitch. Going up for it, but loses control. That'll allow Bubbling Kettle to find the touch. Not a lot of offense developing here off of that one. Does manage to secure the corner boost, but will have to use it to hustle back onto defense now. Sphere the Nub versus Juicebox. Going to miss that one with the fake touch, but thankfully Bubbling Kettle did get back in time.
It seems like both teams aren't taking huge risks of going after these corners up until now from Juicy Ride, which fails to do there. Fear the Nub went to the sky, drops the ball down to Juicebox, and Juicy Ride can start to put on the pressure. But up as Juicebox went up the wall, Bubbling Kettle guided the ball away. So possession has been difficult to maintain from either side. As Just Ride brings it to the corner, this will go right to Bubbling Kettle's lap, where Juicebox is maybe getting overwhelmed, decides to go for the boost and misses the chance to save the ball, so it's 2-0 for Cerebral Moxie.
Yeah, Cerebral Moxie really just taking advantage of the boost advantage that they had there with Just Ride and Juicebox. Couldn't find any boosts on their path rotating back on defense, and that just kind of put them on the back foot with trying to make that save, and it's a great read from Cerebral Moxie, and with that, they'll have a 2-0 lead now. As we hit the halfway marker of our first game, Juicebox has a touch, but Fear the Nub able to get under that one. Now Bubbling Kettle tries to clear this one away. It's a demo onto Fear the Nub, but Bubbling Kettle with a great recovery, able to save that shot at him.
And save his team from that 1v2 situation, mainly himself too. 2-0 for Cerebral Moxie. Just Ride with the speed. Bubbling Kettle closes that right post, pushes it off to the side where Cerebral Moxie didn't have the follow-up, so Juicebox dunking it in and gives Juicy Ride a shot.
Beautiful positioning from Juicebox here. You see him setting himself up off that sidewall. Fear the Nub tries to get under that one to get the clear away, but Juicebox angling that one down ensures it will find the net. That will cut the lead down to just one goal for Cerebral Moxie. Minute 42 left to play. To see Bubbling Kettle does get a little touch there, but it's Juicy Ride's defense able to send this one back to midfield. Fear the Nub trying to contest, gets the bump onto Just Ride. Juicebox now has to secure this touch. Now it's him versus Bubbling Kettle. The big bump will put him on his back. Can he find a goal out of this one here? And he does.
Great carry, great dribble by Juicebox, and what a response from Juicy Ride, who started this game 0-2. And I think Fear the Nub should have tried to close that right post a bit better, right behind them. It was Juicy Ride getting sandwiched almost, but still able to find the back of the net. A little bit too much space given over by Cerebral Moxie. Shot hits the right post. Fear the Nub conceding the ball as Juicebox now demos one defender. It's 2-on-1 in favor of Juicy Ride, but Juicebox is actually heading back for boost, so it's a 1-on-1 that Just Ride goes for a back pass. Now that Juicebox has the boost, goes for bump in the net, doesn't get the demo, and Juicy Ride never maintained possession, so that bump didn't end up profiting them.
Yeah, a bit of a missed opportunity there for Juicy Ride. What could have been a goal that secured them the lead here in our first game of the series. It's going to allow that play to die, but Fear the Nub once again finding one of these angles off of a little bit of a lax pass from Juicy Ride. You see Fear the Nub just calculating that one. Juicebox can't recover in time. That's going to give Cerebral Moxie the 1-goal lead.
Yeah, I think Juicy Ride, there was some kind of miscomm. Their wires got tangled. I think they were trying to avoid bumping each other, so you had a really weak clear off the corner. And what's important is if you have that weak clear, you need to follow up with it, or you're really just teeing up the enemy, the opponent, to go for a home run. 30 seconds left, though, with Cerebral Moxie only up by 1. Midfield presence for Juicy Ride, maybe an open net. Just Ride just has to line the pins up. And there is the tying goal. Cerebral Moxie hitting themselves for that.
Yeah, and I think Bubbling Kettle tried to get that backflip to get back on defense, but Juicy Ride, seeing that, knew they had a brief window of opportunity to kind of turn on the Jets, get a little aggressive to make that play happen. They do just that. So that's going to be tied at 3s now with just 15 seconds left to play. A great contest from Just Ride, going to stop Fear the Nub in his tracks on that play. We could see an overtime here in game number 1 unless Juicy Ride can find a goal here.
Yeah, Juicebox wasn't set up on the left side to try and cut that angle, but the ball is still in the air. Offense in favor of Juicy Ride. As Juicebox back pass and wants to force the overtime, doesn't want to give Cerebral Moxie a counterattack.
Yeah, I think they were kind of could sense that Cerebral Moxie was really on the hunt for a goal there. So just allowing that one to touch the grass and force the OT. Now next goal wins. It's a big demo onto Just Ride. Ball is in the hands of Fear the Nub. How are they going to approach this one? Has to be slowed down a little bit. Good touch and follow up from Cerebral Moxie. Bubbling Kettle doesn't exactly have the angle, has to force himself back now, gets the bump onto Juicebox. A missed touch here from Juicy Ride, and Bubbling Kettle somehow recovers to get the save.
And Juicebox, I love the attempt at trying to bump in the net, but wasn't able to stuff them in the locker to bully them out of the way for that OT goal to go in favor of Juicy Ride. But Juicebox has possession, trying to fake out Bubbling Kettle. Right behind them, though, is Just Ride, as Juicy Ride take inch by inch, now crossing to the right, and Just Ride finds the back of the net.
Oh, a tough break for Cerebral Moxie there. The right idea out of Fear the Nub to clear this one across the front of the net. But it's both members of Juicy Ride in the perfect position to take advantage of that clear. That's going to allow them to take game number 1 here against Cerebral Moxie.
8 shots to 7, a 54-second overtime. We knew this was going to be the match of the day. We knew this was going to be the closest one, too. And Juicy Ride, although I had maybe crowned them I think one of the top 3 team,
Sure.
top 3 team here, a new team like Cerebral Moxie is showing up and really making them sweat.
Yeah, I think, we kind of had an outlier, right, in terms of competition with the uncontrollables. They're definitely up here, but I think the field kind of narrows. The more teams we add into pool play, it's really kind of a battle for, I think, that, what we might consider the second seed in this tournament. I think it really can be anyone's day, anyone's game. Just depends on how you're playing, how clean you can play, since, very small mistakes now are making all the difference in these games. And just, comes down to who's playing the best Rocket League they can on the day. And for game number 1, it was in favor of Juicy Ride.
Just by the skin of their teeth, too. And they were really patient on the play, seeing what kind of mistakes they could force out of Cerebral Moxie, which were far and few between. Juicebox trying to cut below that defender, didn't work out. Just Ride keeps the play going. It was really just conceding the ball, and Juicy Ride just keep hitting it towards their end and seeing what kind of rebound they can find to draw out the defense, find a gap to take a shot. But for now, Juicy Ride find themselves on defense with Cerebral Moxie's counterattack not blossoming quite yet, not able to maintain possession once they cross that midfield. But Bubbling Kettle, now that the second counterattack, almost had a free shot on net. The angle too tough to cut while nobody was there. That's a missed opportunity for Cerebral Moxie.
Yep, and now it could be in favor of Juicy Ride as Juicebox gets that demo. The pass over to Just Ride. What could have been a 1-0 lead in favor of Cerebral Moxie flips the opposite way, and it's Juicy Ride up 1-0 here in game number 2.
Just back and forth we go. It feels like a chess match of both defenses standing up, and a kickoff.
Ooh.
No, not on target for Fear the Nub, but a close tying call. But like I was saying, back and forth, we're clear after clear. It's who's recovering faster, and dropping this off to the corner, which is well protected there by Juicy Ride. Finding a clear, dangerous touch there by Juicebox. Have that centered out in front of the net. Not something that Bubbling Kettle was in position for, though.
Yeah, just slightly out of sync on that offensive play. Slightly out of position there, so Cerebral Moxie not getting a great shot attempt, but it's a great clear here, forcing Juicy Ride back onto defense. Another great save from Fear the Nub. And the demo into Juicebox. Can he recover in time to get a shot attempt before that player spawns in? But thankfully for Juicy Ride, player was there, able to make that save. Now it's a tough angle, but Just Ride thankfully gets under that one to get the stop.
Cerebral Moxie quickly rotating back here. As Just Ride, with the speed of the ball, almost overwhelms as Juicebox wanted his moment to strike. Bubbling Kettle escorts the ball off to the perimeter as Just Ride loom for their moment to challenge, to take the ball. Fear the Nub now conceding that. Juicy Ride putting more and more shots towards that net. Eventually this is going to crumble, and eventually Cerebral Moxie will have to deal with a bigger deficit unless this is a moment for them to tie. But with an attacker missing, Cerebral Moxie just might not have the manpower to force their way through.
Yeah, Cerebral Moxie just really fighting to find those quality shot attempts that they want, so badly. They kind of rely on the clean play to secure those goals, but Juicy Ride making it very difficult for them on the defensive end. Now we have Juicebox trying to line this one up. Ooh. Throw a little change up at Fear the Nub. Thankfully he's able to defend. The bump tries to come through, but nothing gonna come of that offensive play. To see if Fear the Nub has an answer, has a tying goal. Not just yet, but thankfully Bubbling Kettle at the midfield line, gonna slow down Juicy Ride. They look to make an offensive push here. It's an over one. Bubbling Kettle will send this one to the corner. Just Ride with no defense, or no boost, is going to have to hustle back onto defense. Does he have the cut? And it does. Nice pass over from Bubbling Kettle will tie us up at once.
Yeah, that pinch from Bubbling Kettle was huge. Just getting a bit of height on the ball so that it kind of nullifies the speed of it, pinches out towards the left, and it's a home run by Cerebral Moxie to finally have a response when being down for minutes. Only by one, though. We find ourselves in a tie with 90 seconds. That first game went into OT. With how low scoring this has been, how tough these defenses have been to dismantle, I could see another overtime happen.
Yeah, it's definitely looking that way. Just have to see if one of these teams can find that shot, not have to go into overtime. It's a minute 12 left remaining. Bubbling Kettle trying to make something happen. Fear the Nub again, setting something up off the backboard. It's a demo onto Just Ride, so that'll at least slow down Juicebox. 1 minute left to play. Attempted pass, but Fear the Nub gonna get a great clear into this corner. Juicebox back on defense. Just Ride there as well. The double tap attempt gonna be cut back. No, not gonna find anything out. One, the pass is going back over to Fear the Nub. It's a decent amount of boost left in the tank, but has to send this one over to the side wall. Now it's Juicebox. This one up towards the ceiling. Fear the Nub has the touch and the clear yet again, forcing Juicy Ride back onto defense. Juicebox looking for a save there, but not gonna happen as Bubbling Kettle is able to secure that shot and get Cerebral Moxie the lead.
There's a defender in the net there, but Just Ride was too deep. He was in a position to save, but not far forward enough to stop the ball from going past the goal line. So almost a good attempt, but an even better shot from Cerebral Moxie. They seem happy on the cams, cozy, calm, and collected. Now, especially with a 1-goal lead, 20 seconds left. Fear the Nub getting confident, winning that challenge against Just Ride, but getting overwhelmed. The coverage is too much for him to handle. Eventually, he crumbles and gives the ball back over. Now it's a defense for Cerebral Moxie, who just can't afford another goal. And with that long clear, Juicy Ride, now it's a 1 second mark, have to cross the entire field with the boost that they have left. And the ball is on the ground, and Cerebral Moxie will tie the series.
Yeah, and we have confirmed our first non-3-0 sweep of the day here with that fantastic play coming through from Cerebral Moxie. We'll tie up the series at 1 apiece. I really like what I saw, the kind of composure out of Cerebral Moxie at the very end there. Despite Juicy Ride's kind of offensive pressure, they were able to kind of weather that storm and close out the game. So 1 apiece now between these two teams.
Cerebral Moxie almost doubling the shots, 11-6, and that being so low scoring, it came down to the wire. I think Juicy Ride used a lot of creativity of just trying to kind of get these back passes, to have these quick shots towards the net, and this was so close. I was fully expecting an OT, but Cerebral Moxie, you saw when they would make mistakes, you saw the reaction, they knew they could do better, and what I loved is that they did do better.
Yeah, they kind of set that goal for themselves, are able to accomplish it. And I think, versus the way that first game went, where it really was, Juicy Ride being the aggressor, kind of a little bit more towards the forefront of offense, they were able to flip that script on them in game number 2, and it works out in their favor. So we're now going into our third game of this series, tied up at 1s. Excited to see who comes out on top here. That first shot attempt from Just Ride going to go wide just off that post. It's a bump now in midfield between Bubbling Kettle. Fear the Nub. Try to gain possession here. Juicebox is there to intercept, sending this one towards the orange net. Thankfully, Bubbling Kettle back to clear that one away.
Oh, towards the back wall though. Juicebox in a position, and he scores for Juicy Ride.
Great play out of Juicebox there, just when I thought the play was over. And Cerebral Moxie's turn was to get started on offense. No, it's Juicy Ride finding a cutback off a little bit of a weak clear to take the lead early here in game number 3. There's Fear the Nub battling on that kickoff to get his team the offensive advantage. It's Bubbling Kettle up off the ceiling. And the response is immediate from Cerebral Moxie.
And going for the reset play too. I almost want to watch this again. First he has it off the ceiling, gets the second one, and kind of uses Fear the Nub to adjust his trajectory. Either way, it was a team play for Cerebral Moxie to find a response 1-1, where both teams are stepping up. There's never a lead that's kind of got past a 1-goal lead at this point. These teams are evenly matched, and it's great to see new teams like Cerebral Moxie, who just qualified today to pool play, show up and make kind of veteran players like Juicy Ride give them a run for their money.
Definitely. Like what I'm seeing out of both of these teams, and I think you nailed it. Both these teams are evenly matched. It's really just coming down to who's performing more perfect on the play. There's another great shot attempt coming through from Juicebox, but it's Fear the Nub with a save yet again. A battle at midfield. Just Ride trying to pinch this one over. Juicebox not liking it. Gonna opt to stay back on defense as Fear the Nub trying to get aggressive, and now it's a 2-on-1 situation before Fear the Nub can hustle back. Is he able to get under this one for the save? It's a tough touch off the top bar. Gonna drop that one down right in front of the net. Juicebox tries to keep the play going here, but he's gonna send this one back to reset.
Juicy Ride trying to do the Cerebral Moxie kind of sandwich play together. Didn't end up working out. Cross got in the way. Now it's Juicebox and friends stuck on the defense. But also, Juicy Ride are very careful on when they want to push that second man up, because if you do miss that challenge, you whiff the touch, whatever it is, you leave your net completely open, and that's why these games have been so low, at least on the lower scoring side of things, because there's not too many mistakes defensively that are leaving the net wide open. Cerebral Moxie able to ward away the storm. Bubbling Kettle, though, got demoed. So now Juicy Ride able to stuff them back into this orange half as Juicebox gets ready in the box to just shove his way through. And a whiffed touch by Juicy Ride. Is this a breakaway from Fear the Nub? Juicebox able to have the boost to get there faster.
Yeah, Fear the Nub with no boost just couldn't convert on that opening. That's unfortunate. That'll mean we stay tied up at 1s just past the halfway mark in game number 3 here. Juicebox trying to get something started, but Fear the Nub, yet again, just being a nuisance at the midfield, getting in the way of all of Juicy Ride's plays. There's another good bump from Bubbling Kettle with another great clear from Fear the Nub, which will force Juicebox to reposition here. Trying to get this touch at midfield, just trying to get the ball on the purple side of the pitch. It's another bump from Bubbling Kettle to slow down Juicy Ride. Fear the Nub, again, looking for a clear to get the offense going. It's just been so much pressure from Juicy Ride at the 50. A demo coming through onto Fear the Nub. I like the clear from Bubbling Kettle. Gonna allow his teammate to get back on the pitch. It's a slow little setup here. The pass goes cross field. Bubbling Kettle trying to look for the shot now. Recenters it up, but Fear the Nub has to hustle back on defense.
Juicy Ride are utilizing more demos too when it comes to setting themselves up on offense, creating these two-on-ones. But that almost got away from Just Ride, which could have been a turnover for Bubbling Kettle. but these demos from Juicy Ride, you need to be able to execute on well, open nets, and most importantly, just being able to break down that last defender. But even just keeping Cerebral in that half is always benefiting Juicy Ride if they can produce more opportunities. Now is Juicy Ride on the defense. Just Ride is letting this ball almost cross in front of the net. That could have been dangerous.
Yeah, more and more demos coming through as well, so these teams having to be even more cautious about their positioning. Don't want to give a power play 2-on-1 advantage to either side. So now we just have 30 seconds remaining. This one's still tied at ones. Juicebox with the touch, but it's Fear the Nub with the demo. Can they convert now? Just Ride has possession ever so briefly. It's Fear the Nub again, trying to clear this one onto the purple end. 5 seconds left to play now. Fear the Nub gets back on defense, not wanting to leave an open net or an opportunity here. Are they going to let this one touch down, force the OT, or is Juicy Ride going to go for the goal? This one is up, but it is down. So we go to an overtime, tied at ones.
Yeah, that second attacker from Juicy Ride, way too far forward in the box. When you try to cross the ball in front of the net, you need that second attacker to be in a position to land it. Now for now, we go into our second OT of the series, and Juicebox clearing that to the corner. Now conceding that though, not able to find the full clear. Juicy Ride have to go for a team play, and the demo 2-on-1 for Juicy Ride, where Juicebox is bumping and locking up Fear the Nub, and in this 1-on-1, Bubbling Kettle wins that. Juicebox is trying to slow down the play. As Cerebral Moxie, once they do go for these counterattacks, it's very difficult for them to maintain possession, to dodge the challenges. Juicebox, yet another demo. It's now a 2v0. Juicy Ride just have to set up the finishing blow in OT, but Respawns came back and Cerebral Moxie are still alive.
Yeah, Juicy Ride turning the orange side of the pitch into a scrapyard, but still not able to find that goal. So we're now over a minute in this overtime between these two teams. Fear the Nub, not a lot of boost to work with here, but doing his best to slow down Juicy Ride. But here you have Juicebox up off the sidewall. Full tank of boost, but that one going to be swatted away. Fear the Nub now racing towards it, trying to get the offense going. Is in this corner, has the touch off the sidewall. Bubbling Kettle is in position, but Juicebox able to contest. Knock that one straight down.
Now this could be a counterattack from Juicy Ride, who took a second to recover. Also read the bounce off the wall, and Juicy Ride couldn't convert, and Bubbling Kettle, bar down, finished off by Fear the Nub. Fear him indeed, as Cerebral Moxie go to match point.
Cerebral Moxie persevering here in our second overtime of the series with not the cleanest play, but at that point in time, hey, you'll take any goal you can get, and Cerebral Moxie does just that. Well played between both of these squads, and I don't know. We'll have to see if Juicy Ride is able to get another victory on the board, force the game 5 here, or if Cerebral Moxie has all the momentum going into game number 4.
Very similar shot counts this time, 7-8 in favor of Juicy Ride, but ultimately the game ending almost 2 minutes later for Cerebral Moxie, where Cerebral Moxie's offense was, well, commanding in game 2 with 11-6 shots. Yes, it wasn't commanding in terms of goals, only ended 2-1. But if Cerebral Moxie can control the field, control when these opportunities are happening and not happening, that's how they're more likely to win these games. And it's been 2 OTs though, and I think this has been an amazing series from both sides to not let this produce too many mistakes.
Yeah, very clean play out of both of these teams, and like you mentioned, low scoring, but I mean, to be expected after the defense we saw in our first series of the day with Cerebral Moxie, and of course, Fear the Nub making all of those miracle saves happen. We'll have to see now, going into game number 4, can Cerebral Moxie close it out here with the momentum they have on their side, or is Juicy Ride going to be able to battle back and force a game 5 in this series? We will have to see. So far, some slow play in the orange corner here as Juicebox does his best to allow his teammate to get some offense going. Bubbling Kettle doesn't get a great clear there, but Fear the Nub is there to at least make Juicy Ride have to work a little bit harder on offense. Now, ball in the hands of Bubbling Kettle, but it's going to be Juicebox winning that 50, sending it to the opposite side of the field. Fear the Nub, not the strongest touch there, but thankfully Bubbling Kettle has his back, is able to bat that one towards the purple side. And now Juicebox, the full tank of boost, but Fear the Nub, with no fear in his eyes, tries to take that one away in front of the net.
Yeah, Juicy Ride were the ones who I felt struck a lot of fear when they are going for constant demos, these constant 2v1s in Game 3, to the moment where the game-winning goal could have been in their favor in OT, since they had a double demo play, but just couldn't control the ball, couldn't get it in a scoring position. And Cerebral Moxie ended up, Fear the Nub winning that 1-on-2. So it's Juicy Ride. If they're going to keep going for these demos, they need to convert these into successful opportunities, or just focus on team play rather than putting one player out of position for bumps and maybe not necessarily helping the other player. For now, though, it is 0-0 with Just Ride up in the air, crossing over. There's a bump attempt by Juicy Ride where I felt like Juicy Ride would have had a better chance if they went for a passing play instead of a bump.
Yeah, Juicy Ride, I think at this point, just really looking to get on the board in any way, shape, or form. They need to force this Game 5, but of course it's Cerebral Moxie's challenging defense, making that so difficult for them. Now the pass over to Bubbling Kettle. The demo will come through. The goal will not find the net just yet for Cerebral Moxie, setting this one up, but it's a great touch from Juicy Ride, and that's an open net sent downfield. I think it's going to be Juicy Ride on the board first here in game number 4.
And great shot by Juicebox. He realized that he didn't have any boost to maybe outrace someone that could have had a full tank, so he takes the flick shot, and Bubbling Kettle, despite probably having the boost to outrace him, wasn't able to chase down the shot in time. So Juicy Rider up 1-0 after almost an entire half of nothing, and the kickoff is free for Bubbling Kettle to even things up.
I was about to say, now it's going to be an uphill battle for Cerebral Moxie, but I didn't even have time for that. They're able to even it up in a moment's notice there off the following kickoff. So back to an even playing field between these two teams. Now Cerebral Moxie shifts that momentum back into their favor. Possession in the hands of Fear the Nub, trying to get it past one defender, and he's able to do just that. The lead back in Cerebral Moxie's favor.
And this is how you use the physicality to overwhelm a net. I think this would have went in, but just that slight bump that you got on the defender that was going to maybe pinch it out, that's what allowed that goal to go through for Cerebral Moxie, who take back the lead after such a quick response. Now this could float into the net, and the clear wasn't fast enough, and Juicebox evens things up again.
All right, we're into an old-fashioned shootout between these two teams. I think it's been 3 goals in about 8 seconds on the clock, so some really fast action happening now between these two teams. We're back to being tied up 2 apiece.
Cerebral Moxie just playing the bounces off the wall, where Juicebox well positioned to throw it to the back wall, but Just Right placing it too high on the cross as recovery from Juicebox being worked on. Fear the Nub doesn't go for the bump. Just now, though, Juicebox to the back wall. Second touch, not there for Juicy Ride, but the demo gives a 2-on-1 situation where, well, Juicy Ride don't have the ball, but it's maybe just about space acquisition, slowing down any potential of a counterattack. As Juicy Ride reassess their resources, they back away, and what a shot into the upper 90 by Bubbling Kettle.
Bubbling Kettle really starting to turn up the heat here on Juicy Ride as he finds that fantastic cross-pitch shot into the opposite side of the net to get Cerebral Moxie the lead yet again here in game number 4. Orange team looking to close it out here, but it's a breakaway off the kickoff to tie us up yet again.
Every time someone has a lead, we just immediately squash it, which bit of a tango situation happening at the kickoff, and both teams kind of utilizing that creativity off the kickoff. It was Bubbling Kettle's kickoff goal that tied it 1-1. Now it's Juicy Ride getting the revenge on the kickoffs, tying it 3-3 later on. 90 seconds, though. I could see another OT if we just keep seeing punch after punch like this.
Yeah, going blow for blow here between these two squads. Who is going to come out on top? Can Juicy Ride force the game 5? Look to take the series there, or can Cerebral Moxie close it out in 4? It's going to be Fear the Nub. The panic setting in for Juicy Ride just a bit on that defensive play.
They're happy with themselves, happy with the play. Fear the Nub. Wow, that's a whiff from Juicy Ride, not getting the clear, and Fear the Nub either going for a bump or going for a fake, and Cerebral Moxie get gifted that goal, but plenty of time for Juicy Ride to make up for that. They're a team that have competed for a long time, so mistakes like that are uncharacteristic, and the composure is certainly there. Juicebox, the clear that gets past Fear the Nub, though, but Cerebral Moxie gaining inches and meters, stuffing Juicy Ride into this purple end. And it's Juicy Ride that have to break out and see if they can find that tying goal, where usually seconds go by and you have that tying goal, but not yet.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Can Cerebral Moxie hold on to this 1-goal lead with just about 30 seconds left to play on the clock? Juicebox, possession so briefly. Bubbling Kettle needs to get in the way of this one. Misrolls just a little bit, and that one is right over the hood of Fear the Nub. Another tying goal here for Juicy Ride.
What a banger by Juicy Ride. The awareness, the realization that the defense flubbed it, and there was a miscommunication. Who was clearing this? The ball bounced above. Didn't see a jump by Cerebral Moxie, still figuring out what the plan was. And Juicy Ride jumped on top of that. Get a kickoff goal, though, so that's all forgiven, and Bubbling Kettle does it again.
I have never seen, I don't think, a game of Rocket League like this, where it is so back and forth and really hinging off of those kickoff goals. All these trick plays coming out from both of these squads. Right now with 17 seconds remaining on the clock, it's Cerebral Moxie finding themselves in the lead by just 1 goal yet again. Can Juicy Ride find the tying goal with 10 seconds left to play? Fear the Nub back on defense, has to get the touch there. Bubbling Kettle diverts this to the sidewall. Ball is up, 1 second left to play. Does Juicy Ride have it in the tank? No, that one is going to touch down, and Cerebral Moxie will take it in 4.
Dangerous move by Juicebox to go for the boost, to think that his teammate, or there's a miscom whether he was maybe trying to pop it up for his teammate to keep it into the air, but Juicebox popped it up, went for boost, but there wasn't enough air, enough height on the ball, so when he came back, it was already scrambling just to cross from the midfield towards the net. It was an offensive opportunity, but from all the panic and pressure of a, well, 9-goal game is crazy.
We went from super low scoring, like, very nail biter matches with like 1 to 2 goal leads. We went to then a shootout in game number 4. I think both teams just really trying to outpace each other, and it resulted in a lot of offensive flair, but the defense kind of taking a backseat in that final game, which made it fun to watch, but I think, made it tough for both of the teams to really kind of make that adjustment. A lot of times when you're playing that controlled, slow-paced style, then to all of a sudden go, 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 you see some of those mistakes start to creep in, and I do think that's kind of what led to Cerebral Moxie being able to take advantage of some of those minor mistakes that Juicy Ride was making towards the end there.
And I just think that Juicy Ride had to focus up a bit, because when they would have these incredible goals, then you would have kind of a cheesy kickoff goal happen. It was always Bubbling Kettle that would do it too.
Yeah. And
he got away with that on multiple occasions, had a hat trick in the end, and 2 of those were at least kickoffs. But it was a high-scoring game, so it's fine. But incredible mechanics still from both sides, and the creativity to use those kickoffs to their advantage. It was fun for us to watch, just this anime battle of just punch after punch after punch. And
right, the secret techniques coming out for either squad there made it entertaining to say the least, but it is going to be Cerebral Moxie taking that pool play match, which means we can take a look at our standings as well for this season so far. So again, Uncontrollables, like we had mentioned, sitting comfortably at the top with their win-loss record being 4 wins and 0 losses. And coming up next, Disability, with a great showing that we saw last week as they were really starting to improve that individual skill, sitting with 2 wins and 1 loss. Then we have a pretty big tie between 3 and 4, being at 1 apiece. Juicy Ride being at 1 and 3, and Wheels of Glory being at 0 and 3. And the thing to note here is that pool play matches are still going on. Since we are adding teams in, that's why you see, only 1 on some of those and 4 games to certain other teams' names. So there's going to be some more matches going on, some updates to be coming to this leaderboard, but this is where things kind of stand at the moment, and I think it kind of shows what we're talking about, where Uncontrollables kind of undeniably in first place, but then seeds 2 through 6, it's really coming down to who's playing best on the day.
I like that Handicracked picked up Just Ride and Juicebox as their new substitutes on the roster. They said, well, if we're in 5th place, let's join the winning team up there.
There you go.
I'm just kidding, though. But Handicracked, who I believe just qualified today or something like that.
So that was just today. That is, of course, Solo and Dracus was who we watched for that squad. But as things shuffle through the standings, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out in the coming weeks for sure. Definitely close battles. I think, 2 through 6 seed. It's really just kind of what we saw between this final match, where it's just coming down to, can you make less mistakes or can you capitalize on your opponent's mistakes? And that's, I think, when Rocket League is its most fun to watch, too.
And we still have 1 more qualifier, as you mentioned, where we're going to graduate 2 more teams. That'll be, I believe, the last opportunity, right, for teams to be a part of this pool play, to have a chance to qualify into the big finals with a ton of money on the line. But I think for these players, it's more of the platform, the opportunity, the sense of community that exists between these, the camaraderie, and it's cool to see. I love these players, watching them grow as well, and even just to have new challengers where it was Disability or former champions. Now it's Uncontrollables in a firm first place lead.
Yeah, and I love the format too. We talked about it a little bit, but you always have, week after week, that challenger approaching vibe of who's going to come through the open bracket, enter into pool play, and give some of the older teams a run for their money, which is what we saw today in our final match. But that is going to do it for us here today with qualifier number 3 of your adaptive esports tournaments. We've got 1 more qualifier before that big $25,000 grand final happening on September 1st. So be sure to mark your calendars. And if you're interested in joining for that 4th qualifier, be sure to head on over to aet.gg, where you can find out more information and apply. So from myself and Lemon Kiwi on the desk, it's going to do it all for today. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.